The march to opening day continues. And for the first time on our broadcast slate, the Reds are on the road. They're in Surprise, Arizona, Surprise Stadium, and they take on the Kansas City Royals. A pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sadak alongside Cincinnati's own Chris Welsh. Some rough news for the Reds today. Joey Votto is on the IL. He has allowed the release of information that he has tested positive for COVID-19, so he is out for an indefinite span of time. What is definite, a fierce 1-2 in the lineup today, and it begins with the rejuvenated Nick Senzel showing some power this week.
Well, he is, and the interesting thing about Senzel, he's trying to hit that ball the other way, and that's where his power has been so far. Last night, hit a home run against the Dodgers to right center field. I mean, he's got plenty of power, plenty of bat speed. He's got intensity. I think the Reds would just like to see him settle down a little bit, kind of calm down in the batter's box, and let his natural talent take over.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Senzel, can he remain healthy? In the 2 spot today will be Jesse Winker. No DH this season, so his outfield play will be part of the equation.
Well, it is. I mean, he talks about him getting a little bit better as an outfielder, being a little bit faster on the base paths and so on, but I love watching Jesse Winker play. The guy can flat out hit. He's got a great path to the baseball, and I think what I've seen in the last year or so is a little more rejuvenation in effort, and I think Nick Castellanos has had a lot to do with that. He plays the other wing position out there in right field. He watches how tough Castellanos plays the game of baseball. That's the way Winker needs to play it as well.
Competition is the greatest champion to ultimately finding out what this year's team will be. The starter today, Michael Lorenzen. We'll see if his stuff can sizzle as the Reds meet the Royals on Fox Sports Ohio and Fox Sports Midwest. Welcome on back to Surprise, the Reds and the Royals on Fox Sports Ohio and Fox Sports Midwest. The 9 for the Reds, as authored by David Bell. Nick Senzel leading off in center field. Winker, Barnhart. We'll see both catchers today. Tucker Barnhart, the DH. Farmer, Naquin, Stevenson, and keep an eye on that bottom third. Max Schrock has been hitting to contact well. Jonathan India, Scott Heineman, they could figure in with the dominoes with Joey Votto going to the IL after testing positive for COVID-19. That could be some of the dominoes with first base being open for a bit. The starter that they will oppose has 2 dynamite fastballs in Brad Keller.
Well, he's got not only a dynamite couple of fastballs, he's got a dominating slider. He's a guy that has been saying, I'm going to come up with a curveball one of these years, but every year he shows up a little bit better slider. Big guy.
Nick Senzel, first fly ball. Michael A. Taylor swooping in. A lot of speed on this Royals defense. And make sure you look up the middle. Alberto Mondesi, Nicky Lopez at short and second. Lopez among the leaders in baseball in defensive runs saved and range factor at second base. So Hearn, Alberto at the corners. Cincinnati's own Andrew Benintendi in left field. Gerard Dyson, just re-signed by the Royals on Friday, makes his spring debut in right. And Sebastian Rivero, called Major League ready behind the plate by Mike Matheny, does the catching. And Jesse Winker, first pitch swinging. Reds coming out aggressive here, Chris.
Well, you know, Brad Keller throws a lot of fastballs. And, I mean, it's either fastball or slider 80% of the time when you face Keller. The Reds have seen him before. They're not going to sit around and wait to get down in the count.
Yeah, the changeup he only used 17 times last year, exclusively to left-handed hitters. And his fastballs have a surprising amount of movement. The spin rate versus how much his sinker moves and his four-seamer moves doesn't quite add up. He doesn't strike out hitters a ton. There he gets a jammed, skied ball. Difficult play. It's going to plop on in past the range of Anser Alberto. And good hustle into second base on a foot-first slide. Jesse Winker sprints out that bloop double. And the Reds have a man in scoring position.
You got to be smelling double all the way on a play like this. If it stays fair, you've got to be standing or at least sliding into second base. And, you know, after Winker takes a look at it right there, he does pour it on. And I'm really glad to see Winker being a little bit more aggressive, not only on a play like this. I mean, this is an obvious double, but we've seen him kind of with this attitude this spring, and it is very refreshing.
And he slid on that right hip that, remember, was sore and had him scratched earlier in this spring. Adding speed, part of his equation. Tucker Barnhart, first pitch swinging. Skies one to center. Taylor makes the grab. Bluff tag at second. Winker holds. A long fly ball out. The aggression continues for the Reds here.
Pretty good arm there by Michael Taylor. A couple of hops all the way from the center field warning track to the third base. Put that one in your book.
And it is a very talented defensive outfield under longtime GM Dayton Moore. Speed has regularly been part of the equation, offensively and defensively, for the Royals.
Well, speed is cheaper than home runs.
That's true.
And they've gone back really to maybe take that exponentially this year, like bringing, Gerard Dyson back. Michael Taylor can fly. Nicky Lopez, a second baseman, Alberto Mondesi. All these guys are very fleet of foot.
Hard pull tilt. Elevated pitch, ball one to Kyle Farmer.
You think it's a coincidence that Kyle Farmer's batting in the number 4 spot today?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because we've seen shortstop generally in that leadoff role to maximize ABs. What's your takeaway?
I asked you first.
Farmer again lays off speed up.
Really, the serious answer to that, and I don't have it without talking to David Bell, but I would think that, you're trying to put guys in positions where they need to, step up a little bit. And I think the Reds want, they know that right now Kyle Farmer is probably the best option the Reds have at shortstop. He stays healthy, performs like he has, like he's expected, and so on. But you still want to see him maybe exceed those expectations. And putting him in a number 4 spot, number 3 spot, is maybe a way to do that.
Now, the Reds do have a B game today against the Indians. Kyle Holder is getting reps in that B game. And in scoring position here. There's the big swing. Sky to ball. Taylor has it read. Bending back ever so slightly against the tough sun. He makes the grab. 3 fly ball outs from a sinker ground ball pitcher. Reds leave Winker at second. Michael Lorenzen grabs the ball. Ken Rome made the journey to Surprise for the road games. The Reds take on the Royals. Starting pitcher Michael Lorenzen. He gets the start here today, Chris. He was somewhat dismissive about velocity and going hard in his last outing. Sat 92-93. Said he has a body of work over 6 years. What do you say?
I think he's more dismissive about being judged on basis of what you do in March in Arizona rather than what you've done during your major league career. 29 years old. He's been around for 6 years. He's one game over 500 win-loss wise. He's 22-21. And I agree with Lorenzen 100%. And I think most baseball executives feel the same way. I mean, what you do when guys are grinding it out from April through, the end of September, even into the postseason, is way more important than what you do down here against a bunch of A-ball players in March. And take it from me, John, I am probably one of the best spring training pitchers ever because I showed up ready in shape. I had a good curveball and a good off-speed stuff. By the time the regular season came around and guys really started to grind it out, it became very tough. And I think Lorenzen realizes that.
But you've talked about how, for you, spring training was a make or break proposition, right? There was more on the line with those games for you.
A lot of sleepless nights in spring training. That's a great combination of pitches right there for Lorenzen. The other day when he came in, he was throwing, fastballs at 91, 92. We know he can throw 97, 98. But he was really, taking advantage of working on his stuff. And that's a great example there of following a high, hard fastball with a really well-timed changeup, sold it like a fastball, got a strikeout.
Pull shift is on for Andrew Benintendi. Fastball flares high. And Cincinnati's own Madeira High School, drafted by the Reds 31st round of 2013, went on to Arkansas SEC Player of the Year, and a very strong showing overall with the Boston Red Sox. But a rib cage strain really injured his 2020 campaign, and he was part of that 3-way trade with the Mets. Wound up a Royal along with some cash.
Well, it's been a few years since Andrews had a really good year. It came on as such a, high expectation prospect. The fan base in Boston loved him, and here he finds himself after a 3-team trade in Kansas City. And what they like about it in Kansas City, I mean, he's a guy that can hit a lot of doubles, but in Kansas City, some of those doubles will go as triples.
Yeah, big gaps. The park plays very big, and that's part of the recipe and why they've been so speed heavy over the years. He was the runner-up for AL Rookie of the Year in 17 to Aaron Judge. Payoff. Fouls one back, and you talked about it. 2018, probably his best year. 290, 16 homers. Red Sox won a franchise record 108 games in the regular season, and of course the World Series.
You know, last year for Benintendi, throw it out the window. Only played 14 games, had a rib injury that really kept him from performing. That's another good changeup.
Way out in front. And Lorenzen's pitching with some pace here too, Chris.
I'm not sure if there's anybody around going to hit Michael Lorenzen the way he's thrown those 2 changeups. I mean, he sells out like a fastball. Look at the sink on that pitch. Keeps his fingers right on top.
Now works against Alberto Mondesi, switch hitter, hands tight on ball 1.
The other thing I like about Lorenzen today is, I mean, he's taking basically no time between pitches, getting the ball ready to go. I mean, he is commanding this inning. That's what you want out of your pitcher.
He's facing one of the Royals' hotter bats on the back half of last year. Mondesi was slowed with rehab of shoulder surgery. Had not yet played when spring training 1.0 was shut down. In the first half of the short season, 213. In the last half, 297, and the power spiked. Lorenzen just misses away. He wound up leading Major League Baseball with 24 steals and had 6 homers in the final 29 games. Got a piece. Stevenson holds on. And you're spot on, partner. This pacing from Lorenzen. It is pitch and catch. Lifted foul. That'll twist out of play. Now Mondesi, the answer to a trivia question. First player in modern big league history to make his big league debut in a World Series game. He was 20 years old when he debuted in the 2015 Fall Classic.
Well, you may not have noticed this, but the first 3 players in this lineup today for the Royals have all had World Series experience.
There to right. Tyler Naquin has it read. A 1-2-3 inning. Very efficient effort by Michael Lorenzen. The off speed is on. No score. 1 complete. Gorgeous afternoon. Just about a cloudless sky. No score, Reds and Royals. It is scheduled to go 9 today. More shortened games. A lot of the modified rules will come to a close on the 13th. And it'll be a more traditional spring training most days from the 14th on. Tyler Naquin made the grab to close last inning. And chips a foul from Brad Keller. And Keller, the pitcher of the year for the Royals a season ago. There are the numbers for Naquin. 40 games with Cleveland a season ago. And David Bell's talked about it. For Naquin, it's more about being healthy, right?
Well, that's the one thing that has kind of sidelined his career, and I'm not so sure that he's ever found out how good he can be. Right. Because he's not been able to put seasons together where, you know, he's been able to blend experience with health.
There's swing and a miss on the heat from Keller. First K for Keller, who only strikes out about 5 per 9. He's really on. He's inducing a sea of ground balls.
This is like a throwback game right here. Pitchers throwing strikes, hitters actually swinging at pitches. That's what happens, though, when you have a pitcher out there that rather than trying to, you know, invent the toughest pitch in the world, actually comes after the hitter with strikes. You put a lot of these guys on their heels. A lot of hitters come up out of the on deck circle thing. It used to be, in order to make the ball club, you had to be able to hit the fastball and actually hit the ball. Now, with on-base percentage being at a premium and a good eye at the plate being a premium, you see more and more hitters, even in spring training, taking marginal pitches in hitters' counts. But Keller has a reputation for being a strike thrower.
Swing and a miss. That had some movement to it. He first discovered his movement in instructs in 2016. He was throwing and having difficulty locating his four-seam fastball. He complained to a pitching coach, I can't get it to go straight. He said, why would you want to do that? Oh, that's elevated, strike three. And Stevenson goes down gawking. Back-to-back Ks for Keller.
Well, he threw a sinker down at the knees and then comes right back on the outside corner.
And now Jonathan India. Now, Keller had success in 2 outings against the Reds last year. Back-to-back starts. Wound up going a combined 12 2/3 scoreless.
Well, he's one of the top 2 here for the Royals. I mean, Danny Duffy and Keller, the 1-2 combination. Chris Bubick is in that rotation. Brady Singer. You know, they think that they've got a chance to be pretty good.
Oh, India rocks one to the gap. Played on a bound by Dyson. Helmet off in the flow. Shown off by India. Was that on purpose? Show off that hair game there?
Yeah, if I had hair like that, you'd see it every day. If I could hit like that, too, you'd see me every day. And he can hit. You know, you talk about the one player in this camp that has come from really anonymity to being on a headline almost on a daily basis is what did Jonathan India do today? What position is he playing today? And he's engaged. He plays tough. All of a sudden, I think there are a lot of eyes on him.
Pretty good hands there, too, grabbing that helmet. First pitch ball to Max Schrock, who's a contact hitter. It's 3 straight Reds that have seen a first pitch ball after Keller peppered the zone and saw aggressive early cuts in the first inning. India measures a larger lead, decent space right side.
You know, the last Reds player or Kansas City Royals player that I can think of whose helmet would come off regularly would be Billy Hamilton. And, of course, they did that with Hamilton because he ran so fast he needed a chin strap to keep it on. He did not have the locks that India has.
But major quicks.
Big lead.
That one's rocked left side. India cutting right through second. Helmet off, and he slams on the brakes.
Oh, what a good swing by Schrock.
Bat meets ball when he's at the plate, huh?
I mean, he had an idea here. He probably figured that Keller's going to, you know, work the outside of the plate. It was a breaking ball he reads early on. Look how he just stays behind that ball. No big stride, just kind of gets his foot up, puts his foot down. He's another kid that he can hit.
And now an athletic trainer visit to first base.
Tomas Vera comes out and he hurt himself on that. He must have, Tomas Vera must have used a term that David Bell not familiar with. He's going to look it up there and say, what does that mean?
It looks like Schrock's
take him
coming
out of the game. That's too bad.
Well, Max Schrock departs. He had started at third base today. A little ginger on that stride, perhaps?
Well, either that or his hand. I'm not really sure what's going on. We'll find out, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Now Scott Heineman settles in at the plate. 2 aboard, 2 down, back-to-back 2-out hits. Alex Blandino is in to run at first base. Heineman takes a strike. With Schrock upon arrival to first base. Keller misses, and
interesting to watch Keller here. He's throwing a lot of fastballs and nobody on base, and then you get, you know, a couple guys on, 2 outs, right-handed hitter up. First 2 pitches, slow breaking ball, then a slider. I mean, he is trying to get out of this inning. He's not out there working on stuff. Healthy cut. Heineman down 1-2. Well, that ball had some movement on it. I mean, it looked like it was going to be center cut to Heineman, and by the time it got to the plate, ball was on the inside corner, maybe even off the plate.
Heineman's emotion has caught the eye of skipper David Bell. Lauded the positive emotion he plays with. And there he chases downstairs. Oh,
that's nasty.
Heavy sinker from Keller. He notches 3 Ks, strands a pair. Pinch ran for Max Schrock. He takes his place at third base as well. A scoreless game. The 3 hits so far belong to the Reds. Jorge Soler takes ball 1 from Michael Lorenzen. He was perfect, a couple of Ks in the first inning. Soler came up with the Cubs, went deep in his first big league at bat against the Reds. And chips a foul, took Matt Latos deep the 27th of August 2014, but he struggled to find regular playing time. A loaded Cubs club. Got traded for Wade Davis in December of 16, and injuries plagued his first couple of years with the Royals, and then that 48 home runs and the 178 strikeouts led the AL in 2019. Most homers ever by a Cuban-born player. And this is blasted. Tattooed to left. Winker watches. Home run. Jorge Soler has major power. Got his first spring home run yesterday against the Mariners to left center, and he obliterates that pitch to left.
48 home runs on your resume is enough to tell the opposing pitcher that he's got plenty of power. But when this comes off the bat, I mean, look how quick that swing is on a fastball that runs up and in. I mean, that ball couldn't have been 4 inches from his chest. I mean, that's what I'm looking for right here. Not just power. I mean, there are a lot of guys who can hit it a long way, but that quick bat on an up and in fastball, you know, if you're Michael Lorenzen or, you know, one of the Reds pitchers, you put that in your book, thinking maybe that's a spot I'm not going to anymore.
Foul ball by Michael A. Taylor. It's Michael Anthony Taylor. Not to be confused with the former White Sox Michael David Taylor. Anthony, by the way, after his late father, who served in the United States Army for over 2 decades and passed away in 2017. Thank him for his service, and God rest his soul. And Taylor, long time with the Washington Nationals. 0-2 fouled away. Just came in on a 1-year deal. Had a grand slam in the LDS against his now teammate Wade Davis back at 17. Down years in 18 and 19, and last year, career worst 196. Strikeouts part of the puzzle. He's eliminated a leg kick, and here he lifts a fairly routine fly ball to right. Naquin near the track makes the grab. Rebound for Lorenzen, 1 down. Ryan O'Hearn stands in. He homered in his debut when he was called up in July of 18. Had a dozen homers in 44 games that year, with 195 in each of the last 2 seasons. And the Royals, Chris, of course, added Carlos Santana, which crowds first base and makes O'Hearn's track to the club more likely as a bench bat.
Well, you also consider Ryan McBroom in that race for third base or first baseman, but it'll be Santana, no question about that. I mean, when you get some veteran players like Santana, seems to make everybody around him a little bit better. Soler the same way. You know, you kind of want that, you know, the hard work of Santana, and you want the swagger that Soler gives you.
Lorenzen's off speed has been filthy and on. 1-2. Past the diving range of Farmer. They had loaded that right side with 3 infielders, and still O'Hearn punches it through. 1-out single.
Little slider right there. Looked like Lorenzen got it up. I mean, it ends up around thigh high, and normally you're going to get a pretty good swing out of a lefty when you do that.
he's going to tangle with Anser Alberto, very versatile defender. Time with the Rangers and Orioles. Hops on ball one. The numbers this spring. Hit 283 last year, 22 ribbies, but was non-tendered and released in December by the Orioles. And manager Mike Matheny called his signing on a minor league deal a sneaky good one. He said he's just a ball player, no matter where you put him on the field, a dangerous at bat, who has crushed lefties, almost 400 the last 2 years against left-handed pitching. And Lorenzen's elevating here. Is he overthrowing that fastball a bit?
You know, that was only 91. Sometimes, you know, pitchers try to throw hard. It doesn't come out as hard as they expect. Yeah, you want to stay within yourself, nice and easy. Use your whole body.
He's been sitting 91, 92. He has hit 94 this inning. That was another fastball out of the zone. That one roped. Gets through the hole. Hearn shoots up to second. And now 3 Royals have reached. It began with the Soler homer. 2 on, 1 out, a 1-0 Royals advantage.
For as good as Michael Lorenzen looked in the first inning, I mean, we're hearing a lot of firecrackers going off there around home plate right now. That's a solidly hit baseball right after O'Hearn gets a base hit. The home run by Soler earlier. I mean, it's a little different inning here.
Now Sebastian Rivero takes a strike. Defense first, catcher. Mike Matheny now in his second year as the Royal skipper, who himself won 4 Gold Gloves as Lorenzen asked for a new baseball. Matheny said, "I'll make a bold statement. Behind the plate, Sebastian Rivero is ready to catch. He does everything. Management, communication, receiving, blocking, throwing. He checks all the boxes. But he hasn't been above A-ball yet. 22 years old, and he's working on that offense." Pretty nice pitch from Lorenzen and an off-balance cut.
Well, they've got a guy named Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
Got that tied up for a while. One of the best players in all of baseball. I mean, you look at the pieces that the Kansas City Royals have, and you wonder why people who are handicapping the American League aren't giving them a little bit more respect. Of course, a lot of things have to go right. They've got to have their pitching step up. They've got a nice bullpen, although kind of an unheralded group of players. They brought some older players back. Wade Davis, for instance, is back in camp. Rod Dyson they bring back.
Greg Holland, Irvin Santana.
Yeah.
One of the old crew. 1-2. Might have chipped his bat some. That's got some good carry. Winker gives a gander, and that one off the fence. Long bound. Senzel has to charge. O'Hearn crosses. Alberto on his heels. A stand-up double. Boom by Sebastian Rivero. Reds now trail at 3-0.
Well, we're being broadcast on Fox Sports Midwest today, and we welcome our folks that are watching us over in the Kansas City area. They got to be happy with what they're seeing so far. A little bit of a windblown hit right here, but hey, they all count. And the ball doesn't get out of here like maybe Winker thought it would. It bounces off the wall, but does a pretty good job of clearing the bases.
So 4 of the first 5 have reached. 3 have scored. Now Nicky Lopez, left-handed hitter. Swing and a miss. Lopez, one of the Royals that could exhale some when they added Benintendi. Dayton Moore said that Benintendi's bat would allow Lopez to focus on just put the ball in play great defense, grow naturally as a hitter. Lorenzen misses, count levels at 1.
You know, this is where I would like to see Michael Lorenzen, you know, bow his neck a little bit and get out of this inning. Last thing you want is the inning to be stopped just because you've hit 20 pitches and the manager. I mean, that's embarrassing when that happens. But he's got to start making some better location pitches.
Behind him in the play, underhand shovel, and Lorenzen, very adept athlete, able to cover. And the third shifts Rivero on the 3-1 put out, 2 down.
I mean, we've talked a lot about rolling the inning over and things like that, but we haven't really touched on, John Sadek, is, you know, what does it feel emotionally for the pitcher out there that basically, you know, you throw a lasso around his neck and you pull him off the field because we've seen enough.
Right.
I mean, nobody wants that to happen to him. They score a 3 spot, no big deal, but you certainly don't want to let it get out of hand.
First time he saw Gerard Dyson, he jumped ahead 0-2 and got on the chase on a swinging K. Elevates here.
Yeah, he's elevating because he's not following through. That's a changeup right there, just not finishing his pitches. And, you know, when we've seen Michael Lorenzen do that in the past, I'll simplify it like good old amateur days. You're not bending your back. I mean, there's more to it, but, you know, you got to get out there and finish your pitches. And for Lorenzen, a 6-year Major League veteran, he ought to be able to hit every quadrant of the strike zone with every one of his pitches.
And he has more pitches than most, too.
More pitches than fingers.
How do you, I guess, evaluate having that much pitch variety? Yes, if you have quality pitches, that's great. Out in front. But can that become its own handicap at times, depending upon the pitcher?
Yeah, a lot of times pitches begin to blend together.
Right.
For instance, the old, you know, difference between slider and curveball. If you try to throw those equally amount, you know, sometimes you end up with a third pitch in between.
2-2, swing and a miss.
Last two much better.
Now the off speed is Dyson in front, a third K for Lorenzen, but 3 runs for the Royals. And suit up for a brand new season at MLBshop.com. Check out new 2021 gear and shop the largest selection of official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, collectibles, and more. Gear up with the Reds at MLBshop.com. Derek Johnson, some words with Michael Lorenzen while we were away. And we're back with the first pitch out of the zone to Nick Senzel, top of the order. Senzel saw 1 pitch and fly to center first time up. Senzel's been fun to watch, Chris, in this last week. Takes a strike from Brad Keller.
Well, there's a reason he was #2 pick in the draft. I mean, the guy's got an exceptional bat. He's got great athleticism, quick bat, speed, runs the bases well. You know, and what you see right there is what you see from a lot of right-handed hitters when they face a guy with a good breaking ball. A lot of swings and misses on breaking pitches. The home runs he's hit so far this spring have been on fastballs.
Senzel in that leadoff position today began 0 for 4. Had entered 4 for 7 since with 3 extra base hits. Well, they get heat 2-2. One Sky twisting foul to the stands, rattles around.
You began to tell the story, John, how Brad Keller became a Kansas City Royal. He came up with, after he was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks, 8th round, 2013, just out of high school, north of Atlanta.
I like you, man.
And had a lot of movement down there, as you said. He
Chip to third, good backhand pick. Anzar Alberto's throw dug out of the dirt. That's a nice play against a speedy runner.
Yeah, both ends. O'Hearn with the nice snag. Well, there's a ground ball out of Keller. You talked about what a prolific ground ball pitcher he is. He shows it and lets his defense do a little work. Anyway, he was picked up in the Rule 5 draft 2017, but he was actually drafted by the Reds. The Kansas City Royals gave the Reds an envelope and said, all right, we want you to draft this player, as teams often do. Reds had a higher pick that year. They ended up getting Keller out of that. And they did a lot of research on Keller, you know, and one of the reasons why he was available, left off the roster by the Diamondbacks, was because he did not strike out a lot of batters.
Right.
Of course, nowadays you go by all these stats and so on. And the other part of it is that it just so happened that his high school coach was a bird dog scout for the Kansas City Royals. So if you wanted to ask about the intangibles, the work ethic, that type of stuff was all covered. So they figured they had a pretty good case to make a Rule 5. And I think as far as Kansas City goes, maybe one of the best Rule 5 picks they've ever had.
Pop on the infield by Winker. Called a catch from Alberto Mondesi. 2 down. Scored as a P6, even though he was at the second base position. That'll bring up Tucker Barnhart. Now, you speak of scouts. When Keller first got on the radar, it was because scouts were attending a game to see someone else. And we hear that from time to time, right? Now, as you mentioned, he grew up in the greater Atlanta area. His high school team was taking on that of Clint Frazier, now with the New York Yankees. Of course, had come up with the Indians. And he struck out Frazier in back-to-back plate appearances to begin the game. And then the scouts started to chatter. Who's this guy? Who's pitching?
Well, if you play high school baseball in Atlanta, you're on somebody's list.
Right.
That's home to one of the finest amateur baseball facilities in the country. Over in the East Lake area, of course, Perfect Game located down there. So even if you're an amateur that plays on a traveling team somewhere, chances are you have played or are about to play in Atlanta.
And of course, Royals have a lot of Atlanta ties, a lot of Braves flavor in the front office. Dayton Moore, J.J. Piccolo, longtime GM, and his consigliere assistant GM. They were indoctrinated in the Braves way and brought that methodology and philosophy. Many of the smaller market clubs like Kansas City have been burned by the changes in the slotting system in the draft. More regimented numbers that have to be doled out. You know, the Royals were one of the teams at the fore of offering higher round money, drafting hard college commits later. 2-2 misses. And you get greater return on investment. If you spend more money front end on the amateur player, even if 1 out of 3 hit, that's far cheaper than trying to pay for them as a major league free agent. Payoff in the dirt. It's going to be a walk.
1 out of 3, pretty good return. If you can get that.
And it felt like that was about their math, you know, when they compiled the roster that eventually went to back-to-back World Series and became one of the blueprints of a small market team rising to success.
And a lot of the credit really ought to be given to Dayton Moore. I mean, for as long as he's been here with the Kansas City Royals, done a fine job, and with a low salary, you know, compared to some other big spenders around, even in their division. They're not all that far away from world championships, although it's been a tough drought in the meantime. They hope to climb that rung or two this year.
This Reds team in a very expected to be competitive NL Central. A lot of parity is the word of choice of late. Farmer watches one inside. He has fly to center. Of course, the big news today, Joey Votto did allow for the relation of the confirmation. He has tested positive for COVID-19, hit the IL. Bigger lead for Barnhart. Pitch misses up from Keller. And, you know, COVID-19 positive brings a lot of unknowns for exactly how long his absence will be felt. How do you handle first base? Do you move a guy like Mike Moustakas, who played there 8 times last year? Does that open up second base for Jonathan India? Does Scott Heineman get more reps, who has played well this spring? 2-1. Farmer ropes one into the gap in left center. That's going to get down and bounce all the way to the wall. Houses the windmill on at third base. Barnhart makes the chug, and they're going to eat it in the outfield grass. Mondesi holds on. Oh, Farmer rips a ribby double. 2-out walk followed by the base knock. 3-1.
When you get a pitch you can handle, you've got to be able to barrel it up, and this one kind of hangs out over the center of the plate. Even though it had nice downward break, it still was about thigh high, and a good short swing by Kyle Farmer. I'll tell you, for a minute there I thought Benintendi was going to run that ball down. I wouldn't be surprised if during the season you know, with a bigger ballpark, the way the wind's blowing here, that all was up against the fence, but you may see him lay out. Kansas City fans in for a treat watching him play defense this year.
Big lead off second. Tyler Naquin has to snap the chin back. Little up and in, 93. Benintendi, certainly a lot of ability, and
Maybe the first pitch.
they still have arbitration eligible status for next year. Free agency won't come for a couple of years. In there for a strike. Yeah, that's the real challenge to front offices today. Even in markets that have a ton of money, they're trying to find the greatest value. That's what Moneyball is all about. At the time, more OBP oriented, but it can change. Just trying to find that deficit in the market. 1-1 up the middle. Mondesi, routine play. But back-to-back reach with 2 down. The double by Farmer. We'll speak with AZ, the hitting sage of the Reds, Alan Zinter, when we're back. Welcome on back. Bottom 3, a 3-1 score. John and Chris now joined by the Reds hitting coach Alan Zinter. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Oh, we are doing darn well.
It's a beautiful day.
That it is, and we're pumped for this 2021 season. Give us a feel. You've talked in advance of this year and kind of doing the autopsy on 2020 about hitting the ball in the air too much, wanting to cut down on strikeouts. What led you to those conclusions? What are you seeing in spring?
Well, you know, when you look at what we did last year as a team, you know, we put the ball in play very, very, very hard, but it was just too high. And so when we hit balls up in the air that don't carry, you know, into home runs, then they're easy out. So we got to give ourselves a chance to open up that spectrum of the probability of hits, and that's at lower launch angles. So we're going to focus on you know, just working in a controlled setting on driving down through the baseball, and let these guys, because they're built for power, so they take their good swings, and when they clip it clean, they'll get it good. When they miss hit it, we'll have more opportunity for hits, and that's what we were missing last year.
Hey, Alan, Chris here. I'm wondering, what does a hitting coach tell his left-handed hitters when you see the shift on, you see 5 guys on the right side of the infield? I mean, do you have different advice for him? Are you telling him to hit it over the shift? What do you do?
Well, I mean, hitting a baseball is very, very difficult. So, you know, we're trying to get our good swings, trying to get, you know, a good pitch to hit, and, you know, trying not to worry about where those guys are. Obviously, they're there. There's, you know, defensive placement. That's where guys roll over. If we start thinking about it too much, then we start manipulating the barrel, and now we're not, you know, utilizing our best swings. But it can get in the guys' heads when they're trying to do too much or hit it too hard or trying to create too much, and then they get out of their game plan. So a hitter's mind is pretty fragile, and we got to stay, you know, strong in what we believe in and trust our process. If we get a good pitch to hit and we take a really clean swing at it, you know, then and hit balls where they're pitched, you know, then we should be able to get our hit. But last year we rolled into the shift a lot. We were trying to do way too much. You know, in the shortened season, guys were, you know, pressing a little bit, and that's just the way it was last year. And I'm excited because these guys are, you know, they're proven, you know, veterans. They got a chip on their shoulder this year, and they're on a mission, and it's really fun to see the focus and the work that they're putting in the spring.
You can feel that fun. You can see the infection that comes from, you know, some of these guys that are playing with a bit of a bounce in their step. Scott Heineman has certainly been one. One other piece that you spoke of and what you were seeking to kind of integrate this year, that you said you were missing the variety of hits. Can you elaborate upon that? What does that mean?
Well, I think we were 6th or 7th in the top 10 in home runs. We were 2nd in walks. So that's fantastic. That's, you know, damage at the ultimate and getting on base. But when we got on base, I think we led baseball in no-out walks and 2-out walks, but that guy never scored.
Right.
We were 27th or 28th in runs scored, and so it didn't add up. So when you look at it, we didn't have extended innings. We would get a guy on base with a walk. If we hit a home run, we would score. I think there was a stretch there that's the only way we did score, is if we hit a home run. And so we need those singles. We need the line drives, the doubles. I think we're last in singles. We were last in doubles and last in triples. So we were missing hits. We did everything else, pretty good. We were aggressive. We hit the ball out of the park, but we need to be able to open up that spectrum, like I said, and drive down through the baseball and give ourselves, when we do miss hit it, give ourselves more room for error.
Hey, Alan, last question right here. Give me one thing that you've learned from Joey Votto.
He's obsessive. He is fantastic to get to know and just to watch, and I marvel at his work ethic. I marvel at his desire, his dedication, and to see him go through what he did last year and to really come to a point in his career where he made a decision and he's sticking to it, and it's to add more intent and to really drive that ball and knock down the fence, not to try to hit home runs, but truly drive the ball. And I think it was something that got by him a little bit. He's been so good for so long that I think he became obsessed with not striking out and trying to put the ball in play, and it cost him a little bit of his natural moves and put him in positions that late in the delivery of the pitcher. And so he's back doing kind of what he always did naturally, and he's really enjoying himself. And you see a really peaceful joy, and it's really cool to watch.
I love your natural flow, Alan Zinter. We appreciate it. Next time, take the ball cap off. Just let it free, man. Let it breathe.
All right. I want to say hi to my parents. I think they're watching.
You got it.
So, all right, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much. That is the hitting coach for the Reds, Alan Zinter. Edgar Garcia is in. Soler chips a foul. He's worked that what sounded to be a broken bat ground ball from Adalberto Mondesi. There's a lot of self-awareness, self-evaluation for any ball club. And the role of a hitting coach is incredibly challenging, right?
Well, I think it's never been more challenging than now. I mean, pitchers are dominating hitters like they never have before. It seems like all the tools of analytics are in favor of pitchers rather than hitters. I mean, the scouting reports are more exacting for pitchers to get hitters out, and you're seeing batting averages plummet over the years. You're seeing defenses put into places where guys just hit the ball. So, I mean, I think to be a hitting coach nowadays, I mean, you've always had to be able to wear a number of different hats. One of them has to be, a consoling father or a consoling brother to say, hey, I know you hit, 360 in AA, and you're hitting 220 here. This is how you keep your dauber up. And I think that it's never been tougher to be a hitting coach than now.
That's the task of Alan Zinter. And by the way, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Zinter. Hope you're all doing well. Payoff pitch. Outside to Soler.
Well, Soler, I can learn a lot from watching a hitter take a pitch, almost as much as when they swing at a pitch. And Soler is seeing the ball right now. I mean, just a little bit of movement as that ball came in. He followed it all the way in, just off the plate for ball 4. I remember when he broke in with the Cubs and he was going to be the next greatest thing, and it never really did work out in Chicago, but he has really come into his own.
Looks like he'll come off here too. As Michael A. Taylor gets his second AB. So Nick Heath pinch running is a big lead. That draws a throw. Able to plunge back in. He's got that oven mitt on the right hand. Trying to protect the fingers and the shades as well. Taylor eliminated his leg kick. He's trying to focus on putting the ball in play earlier in the count. Look for him to be aggressive if he sees a fastball from Garcia. And you touched on the throwing arm, Chris, on the throw from Taylor earlier. He can throw 100 miles an hour from the outfield. Very toolsy man. Another big lead. Top hand flies off on that big broad cut. Heath drawing some attention there at first base. Big hole right side as India plays nearly straight up the middle. There's that advantage. Now the Reds were run on some in recent days. Giants did it in the game that we broadcast on Sunday. What is the spring etiquette? Is there any? As pitchers are really locked in trying to focus on the sharpness of their pitches, I would think that opens up the door for the run game. There he goes. Swinging a foul.
Well, the run game, you know, for Kansas City, they're the one team that didn't get the memo that big leagues don't run anymore. I mean, they still run. They've got a lot of athletes on this team. They're built around speed. As I said earlier, it's cheaper to buy speed than it is to buy power. And Kansas City's going to do it. I mean, they are going to push that game every bit they can. And, you know, what you have saw, at least what I've seen in the major leagues over the last few years, are pitchers pushing that envelope towards a balk. We'll get more into that because that's what, in my opinion, has shut down the running game.
Off speed from Garcia gets the swing and a miss. 4 Ks for Reds pitching through 3. 3-1 Royals.
I think every year, like the past few spring trainings I've been to, it's like the ultimate goal is obviously to be in the big leagues and stuff. But with as close as it is now and like things are kind of lining up, it's exciting. And yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm always focused, but it's obviously it's a little bit greater this year.
And they are the words of Tyler Stevenson, who had his cup of coffee and went deep a couple of times, opened a lot of eyes in the bigs last year. He has struck out looking against Brad Keller, and he's crisply ahead 2-0. New man in the game, by the way, is Nick Lofton takes over at shortstop. It looks like that's all for Adalberto Mondesi. Yeah, 3-0 in Stevenson's favor. Do you think it'll be a straight platoon left right with Barnhart and Stevenson, or does Barnhart's defense and game calling perhaps warrant more? Is that kind of a wait and see how they play?
You know, you have the reigning Gold Glove winner there in Tucker Barnhart behind home plate, so you give him the nod as the #1 catcher. If you're a right-handed part of the platoon, you're always going to get the short end because there are very few left-handed starters around.
Right.
So I don't know if they would limit it to that. Sometimes managers like to favor battery mates, you know, as it goes along. You know, maybe Stevenson would be the catcher for one of the pitchers in the rotation so that every 5 days he knows he's getting a start, something like that. I'm not sure how David Bell's going to play it out. But I do. There you're looking at, you know, the incumbent, and at the plate we're looking at the guy who's pushing him a little bit. And you hope that Stevenson's able to push Barnhart, and Barnhart rises to the occasion and gets a little bit better. I mean, that's the perfect world.
That's a great split screen shot there. And those two have very friendly camaraderie about themselves. And the payoff launched to right center. It's going to plop on down in front of Gerard Dyson. So good AB by Stevenson, who the times that we've seen him at the plate, he's worked some pitches.
Yeah, he can hit. He can hit. He's got good confidence up there. He didn't look good on the previous swing, but he made an adjustment there with 2 strikes. Keller tries to come inside. It looked like with a breaking ball, or maybe just a fastball that had some cut on it. You know, you bring up a good point about how Stevenson and Barnhart have a good relationship. I was always amazed how close Kirk Casale and Tucker Barnhart were. I mean, basically they're competing for playing time, and they were the best of friends. They shared information. They worked together. I mean, that's really the way it ought to be, and it benefits the entire team, the entire organization when that happens. And I think, obviously, Barnhart has bought into that because he's got that same type of a relationship with Tyler Stevenson. You know, there are players in history of baseball that, you know, you get a young guy come along, wants to take your job, and, you know, you're not going to help him do that. And that's not good for anybody.
Jonathan India has singled. I love the playfulness that Barnhart and Casale had when we were on the air Sunday, the game against the Giants, kicking dirt on one another in the first trip to the batter's box. There's an earnestness, a playfulness, a childlike feel of the joy that Barnhart displays. He's one of the Reds that really likes to have fun. You can see that. Oh, India gets into one to center field. Taylor has it read. Makes the catch.
Have you ever heard of the expression that scouts make a lot, where they say, I don't need to watch batting practice, I just need to listen to batting practice? Well, in 2 at-bats, Jonathan India you know, has broken the decibel record here. Other than Soler's hit to left field that one was a bomb, I mean, he has made the loudest noise with his bat. Sounds great coming off his bat. I know that you can measure those things nowadays, but for me, sitting up here in the second deck, that's pretty good contact.
And the winds are ripping seriously right to left. I think it injured that ball some. First AB for Alex Blandino. Came on to run when Max Schrock seemed to take himself out of the game. The flags tell the tale. Now they're at right center, and the flags atop the batter's eye in center field. It is a serious win. There it is. Look at that. Bigger lead for Stevenson. Up and in on Blandino. Probably Keller's final inning. Pitchers are now starting to get stretched out. You're looking at about 3 innings for those that figure to be starters. Everyone on a sliding scale. Sean Doolittle loosens in the Reds' pen. By the way, word on Amir Garrett. David Bell said today that Garrett suffered a strain in his forearm, and just out of precaution, just to be safe, that's part of the reason why you haven't seen him in game action. He did throw off flat ground the other day. He is scheduled to throw a bullpen tomorrow, and he's very hopeful that you'll see him in game action very soon. And there, a walk engineered by Blandino pushes Stevenson to second. Remember the last time the Reds worked a walk, they came with 2 outs from Barnhart, and Farmer doubled him home thereafter. Mike Matheny coming out. He's going to ask for the baseball. And the Royals go to their bullpen for the first time. Jake Newberry enters. 2 aboard, 1 down. Reds have the tying runs on the bases. 3-1. Reds trail the Royals. 2 aboard, 1 down, 4th inning. First dip into the bullpen for Kansas City today here in Surprise. And Jake Newberry enters from the bullpen.
This will be his 3rd year in the big leagues. At least had part of the year in 2019. Made his debut for the Royals in 2018. So he's got 61 games under his career. Strikeout pitcher. Strikes out more than an inning.
Scott Heineman gives a lift into the teeth of the wind, shading his eyes in retreat. Taylor's got a great arm. Tag at second. Stevenson on a ball that deep, able to chug over to third base, and at the corners 2 down.
Yeah, Taylor not only has a good arm, but he knows where to throw the baseball. You know, if there's nobody at first base, you go ahead and fire it on to third in case the runner maybe stumbles. But in that case, you throw it to second, making sure that that trail runner doesn't get into scoring position.
And now a chance for Nick Senzel, who's flied to center on a pitch. Worked a longer AB and grounded out to third. That was a nice turn by both Alberto at third and O'Hearn at first, taking a throw out of the dirt. Newberry, 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup. Uses the slider the most. And there's a sharp strike 0-1. And slider also the put away pitch. Going to be tempting right on right.
They got a lot of cut guys, huh?
Blandino draws a throw, able to plummet it back in safely. It has been a challenging sun and wind at time, and you wonder if we might see another batted ball or 2 get aided by that. Will it come with men on base? You see the sun splashing down. It's gorgeous Arizona day. Miss away. And the fastball averages a little over 93 for Newberry. Slider at 83. The little used changeup, only used against lefties last year, rests at 87. Tough take. There's a lot of space right side. Lopez shades more up the middle from second. Look at all that open land. Throws him on a borderline miss. Healthy diet of off-speed. Lead runner Tyler Stevenson began the inning with a single. Blandino joined him with a walk. Two. Way outside, and the count runs full to the leadoff man.
You know, I would imagine in a situation like this, it might be a good idea for Newberry to employ a strategy told to me by many pitching coaches along the way, but it would be take the pitch, your favorite pitch, take a little bit off it and throw it for a strike. Looks like he tried to muscle up a little bit on that last pitch.
O'Hearn way off the bag, guards the whole right side. Runner Blandino goes. Weak ground ball to short on the charge, and Lofton makes the play.
Nice play.
New to the fray at short. The charge, scoop, and toss, and Newberry strands a pair. Day is just around the corner. Fans in attendance will receive a free 2021 schedule magnet featuring a car magnet in tribute to number 8, the late great Joe Morgan, presented by PNC Bank. For a full Reds schedule, visit Reds.com. Can't wait for baseball's greatest opening day to return. Sean Doolittle returns to the bump after what he called the most spring training outing to ever spring training his last time out.
You know, he's really great for TV reporters. I know that when we get to know him a little bit more throughout the summer, especially somebody like Jim Day who does so many very fine interviews, I mean, he's going to give you some really good little quick quips. Looking forward to that. Of course, looking even more forward to him getting out there and anchoring down the back end of the Reds bullpen.
It could be part of that closing puzzle. And he'll see a lefty to begin the inning. Ryan O'Hearn is singled and scored. A 3-1 Reds deficit. Now Doolittle allowed what he called an Arizona homer to Elliot Ramos of the Giants. That was on our air on Sunday. Third base shallow, first pitch high and tight. As Blandino plays on the grass and well off the line at third base. But Doolittle spoke about the yearning to compete. Foul tip in and out of Stevenson's gloves. He confessed he had his troubles in that first outing, but he said, can't be out there licking your wounds and bummed out. I was happy to stay in it. I made adjustments, figured some things out in the middle of an inning, and he looks at that as a challenge that he accepts. In the air, center field, Senzel looking up, and it's gone. Oh, the wind helped that one some. It was fairly well hit by O'Hearn, but it caught that jet stream and rocketed into the grass in front of the batter's eye.
John, you haven't called any games at Great American Ballpark before, but this is a dinger on the berm there, too. Wind or not. O'Hearn now has hit the ball twice in both of his plate appearances right on the button.
He's shown power in spring training. Had 3 homers in his first 4 games. There he launches another. Doolittle elevates to Answer Alberto, who has singled and scored. A 4-1 deficit for the Reds. Out in front, a foul ball. Reds entered a 2-6-1 for whatever that's worth. Royals 7-3-0. Although I think particularly on the front half of spring training with rolled innings, wins and losses matter even less than before, and they didn't carry much weight as it was in spring training.
You know, John, we've talked a lot about you know, the open job at shortstop for the Reds. Who's competing in that? We've talked about the platoon possibility. It's behind the plate with catchers. What we really haven't touched on a lot is the closing situation, the back of the bullpen for the Reds. Doolittle, of course, in that mix, but he's going to have to, you know, show that he can handle that before the Reds are going to hand it to him, and that has not been the case. You know, they're still early. I mean, we're talking about March 10th right now. We got another 20 days of spring training. Gave up 11 home runs in 2019 in 60 innings. So back end of the bullpen guy, that's a little bit too many. Said he refashioned his breaking pitch over the winter. And I think that's one area here in Arizona where it's really hard to throw is a good breaking pitch. The air just gives that pitch no bite at all. So what happens is pitchers that, you know, would normally want to throw that pitch to get somebody out can't throw it because they know it's not going to break very much. It's like pitching at Coors Field.
Right.
So I think when you start evaluating Doolittle's curveball, you really can't do it till he gets to Cincinnati.
He was not happy with that miss downstairs. You could see the emotion. You see convulsed and revolt. He's a competitor. Man on for Sebastian Rivera.
You got 9 years in the major leagues. You don't do that if you're not a competitor.
Right. That one is smoked.
Oh, man.
And Winker watches this one off the roof of the bullpen bench. 2 homers for the Royals. The first 3 have reached and scored. And the 2-run Tater balloons the lead. It's 6-1.
Rivera today letting his bat do the talking.
4 ribbies, 2 extra base hits. Strike 1 for Nicky Lopez. And Doolittle talked about the ambush home run last time out. It felt like that might have come again, and now he's going healthy off speed to Lopez. And to your point, Chris, talking about the lack of breaking ball in Arizona, and we had Derek Johnson, the outstanding pitching coach, on and asked him, how do you evaluate that? And yeah, he basically said you got to throw what you throw. Little tapper. Heineman gathers. There's the first out.
Yeah, and I think to that point, one of the things that Derek Johnson means is that, you know, it doesn't always have to be a perfect breaking ball. And you don't have to overthrow it. I know that the tendency of a lot of pitchers when they go to Coors Field is to try to overthrow their breaking ball, knowing that the air is thin and it's not going to break, so you try to throw it even harder and the thing rolls up there like a cement mixer. And I think here you can still get guys out with it just by basis of the change of speed. Doesn't have to have that snap that you normally have.
Gerard Dyson has struck out twice, now 36 years old, signed this past Friday to return to the Royals.
There's still a lot more breaking balls here after that home run. Of course, you got 2 lefties coming up.
Now, one change this year beyond the new baseball itself that pitchers have described as spongier, and it's supposed to take some of the power away from hitters.
They haven't used them today, have they? They must be using 2012 baseballs today, the way it's jumping out of here.
But one thing teams are also using more with the advent of this new baseball, more clubs are going to the humidor. You talk about Colorado, of course, they made it famous trying to normalize things to some extent. Well, now even markets without that elevation, with this new ball, we're seeing it. I think the number is close to almost half the league is using the humidor. How does that change things?
I didn't know that. Are they allowed to do that arbitrarily?
Apparently. Healthy piece in The Athletic about the anticipation of the baseball and they look to the impact a similar change to the baseball had in Korea that saw slugging rates go down about 30%. And that was a more modest change to their baseball than what's being employed in the big leagues. 3-2 fouled away.
Next thing you know, they'll be packing them in dry ice.
Well, Doolittle's worked a full count. Dyson, known for his speed, the nickname Mr. Zumbaya. Why? So that's what I do. I Zumbaya. And here he's a base stealing threat as he gets aboard first time back in a Royals uniform. 1-out walk. Ciano Perez has been throwing for some time in the Reds bullpen. Wade Davis, same for the Royals. Andrew Benintendi has struck out swinging. He has flied to left. Big lead for Dyson. And went in the dirt. Stevenson lost it. Dyson goes halfway. Now he breaks. And Stevenson can't gather in time. Dyson claims second.
You know, that's a situation where the pitcher is probably the only guy that can help the catcher. He's got to come in and start pointing at the ball rather than just kind of getting out of the way. He assumed that Stevenson could find the baseball. And the worst thing you can do is say there, because the catcher doesn't know where the ball is. Pitcher ought to come in, start pointing immediately where that ball is, and maybe it would have kept them from taking extra base.
And Benintendi rips through. Count squares at 1. Doolittle, it's been homer, walk, homer, ground out, walk. Daylight look at second. Instead comes home, misses up. Farmer from short has been swooping in behind Dyson, trying to keep him honest near second base. Left on left. 2-1. Up and in. They are guarding the right center gap. The right field corner is wide open. See Naquin there playing that true gap. A step off by Doolittle. Elevates again. Back-to-back walks. And Doolittle having a tough time this inning. Two homers and 3 walks. Just 1 out so far. He's thrown 25 pitches. Anderson Miller is on to run at first base. Benintendi's day is done. And Nick Lofton, first AB, came on defensively for Mondesi. Ball 1. Dribbled foul. And you wonder if this could be the last hitter for Doolittle, having thrown 27 pitches. Remember, as long as a pitcher throws 20 in an inning, it doesn't matter how many outs there are, who's on base. You can't end it in the middle of a plate appearance. But once a plate appearance concludes, you can, what they're calling, roll the inning and just say the inning's over. That one is slugged up the middle, center field, base hit. Dyson giving the wave. He scores. Throw to second. They'll check on the batter runner. Lofton able to scurry back to first.
Doolittle's heading right into the dugout. That's enough.
Doolittle allows another score. Rough inning for the newest Red. 7-1. 7-1. Reds trail the Royals. We shift to the 5th, and a new pitcher. Former closer, now back in a minor league deal with the Royals, Wade Davis.
I guess he's as new as a 35-year-old can get in the young man's game of Major League Baseball last season with Colorado. Not a rough time. Second time he's been with the Royals. Of course, two-time All-Star back in the glory days for the Royals. I'll never forget when the Reds came in to play Kansas City in Kansas City back around 2015 or so, and it was a matchup between Joey Votto and Wade Davis. And Davis, I think, struck Votto out on a pitch that was on the inner part of the plate. And later, I think, either that night or shortly thereafter, Joey Votto said that was the single best pitch he had ever seen in his life. I think it was probably 96-mile-an-hour cutter, perfectly placed on the hands, didn't pick up the movement until it was too late. And I think the Kansas City Royals hoping to capture a little bit of that old magic from Wade Davis. Don't know if he still has, 95 or 96 in him. Word is that he's dialed it up around 91 or 92 so far this spring.
And pumps that one at 88 for a strike to Winker, who was doubled and popped out. And Davis, of course, was part of that trade to the Cubs for Jorge Soler. That was before the 2017 season. Led the NL in saves in 2018. That's a nice pitch. In there for a strike. And he was a critical piece of that highly touted Royals bullpen when they flipped the script, and a methodology that many have tried to mimic since. Load up on big-time hard-throwing arms. Don't need the same depth out of your starting rotation.
Yeah, I think what's happened to Wade Davis happens to a lot of pitchers that have really good success out of the bullpen. You become a real workhorse. In 2014, 71 games. Then All-Star years, 3 in a row. 69 games, 45, 59, 69 games. And every time, the manager needs a couple of outs, they go to a guy like Wade Davis. So you have that workload coupled with the fact that he's getting older, and it really takes a toll. That's why it's so rare to see relievers that carry that big workload last a long time. I mean, they're almost a disposable commodity, especially nowadays with bringing kids up who are 21, 22, throwing near 100.
And for Davis, part of it a right shoulder strain that sapped his velo last year, particularly in September. There at 89, he misses down it into Winker.
I can tell you that just based on the stuff that we've seen right now, he doesn't have the stuff to get Jesse Winker out. All he can do is make a good location pitch and hope Winker gets himself out.
Payoff. Slugged in the air to left center. Nearly to the wall. Able to make the catch. One down. Taylor tracks that one down. A number of subs. Nick Prado at first base. Gabriel Cancel is into the game at second. Emmanuel Rivera now plays at third base. Anderson Miller in left field, and Kyle Isbell in right field. There's a strike to Tucker Barnhart, who was walked and scored. He's 0 for 1. In the air to right. It's got a little bit of twisting carry at the wall. Catch.
Got to know your ballpark.
Isbell brings it in, and remember those wins per the flags. At times they're shooting out, and at times they seem to be crisscrossing right to left. And there, look at that, the American flag inverted from those in front. That's definitely a factor for the outfielders today. Infield is loaded left side for Kyle Farmer. RBI double. He's 1 for 2. And there, that's the new look of the defense. Missed down and in. And of course, arguably their best defender we don't see today. You talked about him earlier. Salvador Perez, elite catcher. And Rivero is very talented and has drawn high praise, but Perez, an outstanding, just about generational talent behind the plate. Early in my career, I spent the first nearly 10 years of my time calling games in Wilmington, Delaware. And all but one of those years, they were the Royals' top farm club. And a lot of the key pieces that wound up on those back-to-back World Series teams, including Sal, were on those clubs. And man, was he a treat to watch. Appeal, he did not go. A rare catcher coming off Tommy John.
And a good hitting count right here for Kyle Farmer.
Let's see if he can get aggressive here. Spent a lot of time working on the right-handed slider machine in the offseason. Socks this one to straightaway center. Measured by Taylor, fighting that difficult sun. Makes the catch. And Wade Davis, 1, 2, 3, all fly ball outs. 7-1, mid-5. The Reds' top priority is to ensure the safety of you and your family when visiting Great American Ballpark. Be sure to cover your bases and help each other stay safe while having fun cheering on the Reds. For a full list of safety protocols and procedures, visit reds.com/safe. Cianel Perez enters. He has been one of the very pleasant surprises of the spring training.
Well, the one thing you don't surprise yourself about Perez is the fact that he's got a terrific arm. And I think that a lot of the Reds who had read the scouting reports, seen videos, maybe even seen him pitch live, realize he's got a howitzer for a left arm. The question is he able to throw enough strikes, enough quality strikes to be, part of that Reds bullpen coming right out of the chute?
Kelvin Gutierrez takes a strike, 1-1, pinch hitting. Yeah, the early returns so far, it feels like he's been in that zone a lot. He's worked with a very good pace. He seems to have a robust confidence about his presence on the mound. But there, off-speed strike.
Good looking yacker.
Yeah. Lost the handle there some. Saw the graphic, by the way, Reds Angels on Monday. That'll air on Fox Sports Ohio, courtesy of our good friends at Fox Sports West. This, unfortunately, will be so long for now for both me and Chris. Wild cut. Perez, some filthy stuff there. Makes quick work of Gutierrez.
He threw a really good curveball earlier in the at-bat. Why not go with it? So my question to you, John Sadek, is why does the thin air in Arizona affect some curveballs, but it doesn't seem to affect Cianel Perez's curveball?
I am out of my element. Swing and a miss by Taylor.
Oh. I'm wondering if there's something going on with the radar gun here, because we know that Perez throws the ball in the upper 90s. And what we've seen so far is that fastball topping out at 92. Maybe they've got the governor on that baby. That's what Hertz does when I rent a car from him.
Oh, one way outside. Yeah, we have seen some lighter velos from from Doolittle and Lorenzen, and to your point, that would seem to make some sense if that's been an issue across the board today. In-house gun says 91, but we've seen Perez sitting 93 to 96. I think you can add plus minus another 2 or 3 miles an hour. 1-2. Radar guns are also a little more imprecise than I think most people recognize. It's part of why you can fight a speeding ticket. There's always a plus minus, even if you tune those babies up. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Elevates with the heat. Back-to-back Ks.
Now that one at 93 miles an hour, although I got to figure that it probably smelled like about 98 as he just blows this one right by. You know, you have to remember that the science of measuring speed in baseball goes back to the Doppler radar guns, which would measure the pitches about 4 to 7 feet out in front of home plate. The radar gun readings that you're getting nowadays in Major League Baseball are out of the hand. So you can basically subtract 7 miles per hour from every radar gun reading now if you want to compare to how hard a guy threw back in the 80s or even in the early 90s before they started using all the different devices that they put in ballparks. So, you know, there may have been pitchers back in the 70s and 80s that were throwing 100 miles an hour, but they'd only registered 93 and 94.
Right.
There's something sexy about 100, though.
Well, there is. Triple digits.
I don't know. I've never seen a $90 bill. Have you?
Not yet. I don't see many $100 bills for what it's worth. A lot of singles and fives in my world, Chris. Concel's first plate appearance. Oh, there's a big knee-bending cut. Seeing how Perez looks really nasty.
You know, interesting as we just talk about that, I get a note from Jim Day watching back up in Cincinnati. He said that he watched the post-game interview with Michael Lorenzen, who said that he kept looking at the radar gun reading here at the ballpark and it threw him off because it said that he was only throwing 92, and he knows he can throw harder than that. And, you know, what's your takeaway from that? Why are you watching the radar gun reading instead of watching the hitters? The hitters tell you whether you're throwing hard enough or not. I mean, bottom line, we're not the county fair.
And there is a called strike 3. You know what it also tells me? All day, Jim Day. He's always working. And Perez has it working in a perfect frame.
I'm Jim Day. My pleasure to welcome in from the Reds facility, Eugenio. Oh, look at that. He's in mid-season form. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim Day. Nice to see you, man. How you doing?
Nice to see you. I'm doing great, but, you know, hopefully on down the road we'll be able to do this face-to-face. But it's great to see your face. I could tell you're even smiling behind the mask. People love that.
Believe it.
There we go. There's that. Hey, we got to flash that smile for the fans. Hey, you decided in the offseason to lose some weight. Why did you think that you needed to be lighter?
First of all, I do that for me, for my health, and I understand. I want to play for a long time, and this gonna help me a lot. To keep on the field, try to play every day, and that's why I decide to lose weight. I don't want to be the guy late in my career say, wow, why I didn't do it before, you know. So I gotta enjoy my young age, but I don't want to be fat. I want to be like I want to feel healthy. I want to feel quick. I want to keep play every day, and I think this gonna help me a lot.
Have you noticed a difference? Do you feel quicker?
Yes, I feel so good right now. I feel quicker. My footwork is outstanding right now. I feel great at the field. I feel like not tired at all. I'm working so hard, and I feel like young. I feel like young. You know, I feel good. So that's why I did this.
A lot of players are reluctant to talk about personal goals, but you put yourself right out there and said, my goal is to break my record of 49 home runs from a couple seasons ago.
That's right. That's right, man.
You're confident, right?
Yeah, that's important. You got to believe in what you can do. You got to comfortable. You got to feel good on the field. You got to feel good with yourself. And for me, you know me. I feel like comfortable. I feel like I can do it because I did it one time. Why not do it more than one time? You know, and that's my goal. I'm not the guy try to break all my records, all my past numbers, and 50 sounds hard, but I believe in myself. I believe in what I can do, and I go for it.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch regardless, and hopefully there's a lot of wins as a team in there as well.
Yes, I hope that happens.
All right. Hey, Eugenio Suarez, as always, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Inde. I hope I can see you soon face to face to give you a hug. You my boy. Have a great day, Inde.
I will have a great day now, and baseball season's officially underway. Once I got that.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
It is.
All right.
Thank you very much, Inde.
Let's go back to John Sadak.
One of the great bromances of all time. I love their love.
I mean, Jim Day, as far as I know, is the only announcer in the history of baseball to have a player hit a home run for him.
Jonathan India smokes a line drive out to Lofton.
And it was Eugenio Suarez.
1-2-3 inning. All day, Jim. On back to surprise. 7-1. Royals pace the Reds. New pitcher for the Redlegs. Jose De Leon enters.
Well, Jose has been impressive, and it's not necessarily, the numbers out there, because in spring training those things can be kind of wacky, but those are the numbers last year. He kind of got ambushed last year, I think, by a couple of games where they just got out of hand on him. But I mean, he's throwing the ball well here. Good firm fastball, nice breaking ball, coming off an outstanding Winter League in Puerto Rico, where he caught a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs on him down there.
I want to touch tight, and that's part of why you could see him go a lot longer than some of his peers, right?
Yeah, and I think if you look at his delivery over the years, it's changed as well. Came up as a prospect. They thought he was a can-miss type of a pitcher. Now he's really shortened his arm swing, like a lot of pitchers have. Kind of like, Trevor Bauer has done it. Sims has done it. And now De Leon visibly shortening that arm slot a little bit, getting that ball to come in there a little bit faster, being able to pitch up in the zone a little bit better. I mean, the Reds think that they may have hit the sweet spot here with De Leon.
Worked a lot on sharpening his slider. He's got a bevy of new defenders, and there's a new man on deck. MJ Melendez waits to hit for the Royals as a ball got onto the field in right. Aristides Aquino new to the fray, scoops it up in right field. We have Dwight Smith Jr. into the game at left. Jose Garcia playing short. And Davy Grullon now does the catching. Out in front. And Grullon holds on, applies the tag, completes the putout. This is how it looks now. I tell you, what still strikes me, Chris, every time we have a chance to see him in the flesh, Jose Garcia physically, especially granted his age, he is an immensely big and strong young man, and you wonder how he might still grow into his body more in the coming years.
Well, I guess there's a limit as to how big you want him to get.
Right.
I'm trying to think of the player that the Reds signed years ago as a young teenager out of the Dominican Republic. His name will come to me, or somebody will remind me. And he kept growing and growing and growing, and pretty soon he's about 6'8". And he basically became just too big to play. too big of a strike zone from a hitting standpoint. I don't think that's going to be the case with Garcia, but you know, I just think he needs reps. He needs game situation. He needs games at this level.
0-2. Called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks. That is 5 straight strikeouts for Reds pitching.
Boy, you'd like to run that baby off about 20,000 times.
Get it. He sweeps the mound clean, gets that follow-through area to his liking. Nick Prado. Another pumped strike. I did not see a radar reading. Have they decided to take that off because maybe they recognized it's not quite accurate?
Well, it's accurate, but it's only accurate for 1985.
Well, that's most of my pop culture references are operate about the same.
And half the players weren't even around at that time.
That truly is Back to the Future. That was the year, right? Down and away. I met somebody the other day who said the only Back to the Future they've seen is the third one. I just shook my head. How is that possible? They're all good, but you chose the worst one. De Leon misses. It seems to be smoothing out that follow-through area of the mound some. How does that affect a pitcher? The depth or the feel of the mound there?
At the big league level, there are no holes to fall in like you find in high school and in college. These mounds are so impeccably maintained. They're beautiful. But the difference in mound, I think that the biggest change is from what you get in the bullpen to what you get on the game field. And that's why you get a couple of warm-up pitches to get used to. There are some mounds around the league that are favored by pitchers. I always thought that the Dodger Stadium pitching mound was the best in baseball. It seemed like you were up there around the third deck when you stood on that thing. And there are other mounds where you feel like you're 90 feet from home plate instead of being 60 feet 6 inches.
Kyle Isbell takes ball 1. Isbell had entered to play corner outfield, has since shifted from right to center. His numbers this spring. The biggest impact I ever saw of a mound was a rehab outing for Masahiro Tanaka. He was throwing for the Yankees AAA team, day game travel day at the Red Sox club, AAA Pawtucket. And sadly, Pawtucket no more. They're moving to Worcester, Mass. They'll be the Woo Sox instead of the Paw Sox. That was one of the great historic minor league venues for a long time. Big lead at first. 2-0. He chases upstairs. And Chris, there were clumps of clay with the mound almost looked like it exploded. Tanaka threw 2 pitches and you saw these wads, and I'm speaking like big spheres the size of soccer balls that were coming out attached to his cleat, popping all over the place. It was a good 15-minute delay as they basically had to rebuild the mound during the game.
I thought they were going to have to rebuild the mound there on that game where Phil Wellman arguing balls and strikes, and he crawled behind the mound and he started throwing the rosin back like it was a grenade, hiding behind the mound. I thought that was a great use of the mound.
Here a walk for De Leon, back-to-back free passes. Now Isbell joins Prado on the base paths. After successive Ks, the back-to-back walks, Anderson Miller stands in. Yeah, that was Double-A with the Braves, right? The Mississippi Braves.
Yeah, I think he's back in baseball. There was a while there that they didn't think that he'd ever coach again. I think he's back managing in the minor leagues, if I'm not mistaken. Hope so.
Trusty internet never fails.
I always liked Phil.
Strike to Miller. When did you guys cross paths?
Oh, so long ago that it was in the minor leagues. I can't really remember exactly when. I'd have to look up to kind of trace his history and see where we may have crossed. It was in 2007 when he gained that notoriety be in a game against Chattanooga Lookouts at AT&T Field. I think he was managing from the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, he's been managing with the Padres Double-A Texas League.
Yeah, I'll tell you when it was. It was when he managed for the Chattanooga Lookouts. Chattanooga was a...
Oh, that one ripped to right. Fair foul, the only question. That is a foul ball.
What?
Miller doesn't agree. Some gripes and groans from the crowd as well.
Yeah, this is really hard for an umpire to tell because it does eventually go to the right of the foul line. But, you know, from this perspective, we can't tell because we're not right on the line. But you don't know when it passed the foul pole, whether it was in fair territory or not. So De Leon gets another life. And you know what happens after a foul ball home run, don't you?
What's that? I'm sorry?
After a foul ball home run, always what happens is strike three.
Let's see. Does he prove pressure? Planes roaring overhead here. I feel like I'm in a city field with the Mets again.
No, actually, we're only 9 miles from Luke Air Force Base, and those are F-18s, F-35s. We hear them all the time there around Goodyear. That's what they call the sound of freedom, my man.
I like that. 2 fouled back. I've spent many football seasons calling games for the United States Naval Academy, home games on CBS Sports Network. I've had the chance to work Army-Navy on national radio the last half-dozen years. And have you been to an Army-Navy game?
I have not. I've watched many on TV, and it just looks like such an incredible experience to be there.
Backdoor strike 3.
What'd I tell you?
Chris called it. Welsh's wizardry continues. De Leon strikes out the side and works around a pair of walks.
Menards has everything in.
We'll be back at Great American Ballpark this season, and the best way to reserve your seats is with a Reds season ticket membership. Plans start at just 14 games and give you the biggest savings over buying individual games. For more information, visit reds.com/membership. We have some changes in this 7-1 affair. New pitcher, Jackson Kowar, is in. Numbers between A-ball and Double-A 2 seasons ago. Facing Alex Blandino, came on for Max Schrock in the game's infancy when Schrock signaled to the dugout after he arrived at first on a single and came out of the game in the 2nd inning. It's now 8 straight Reds that have been retired. Last to reach was Blandino with a walk in the 4th. No hits since Tyler Stevenson's single to begin that inning. And we get word a right calf injury for Max Schrock. Well, there was a little hitch to his giddy up there. And of course the big word earlier today before the game, Joey Votto on the injured list. He has allowed the release of information that he tested positive for COVID-19. Flirts with the inner and upper reaches of the zone 1 and 2. Scott Heineman on deck. Jose Garcia in the hole. Should he be needed, Aquino would follow. They're chasing swing by Blandino. Nice looking pitch there.
You're looking at one of the best changeups around. Certainly one of the best changeups in the Kansas City organization in Kowar. He was a college teammate. Look at that ball sink. Great arm action on that pitch. He was the college teammate of Brady Singer. Of course, he may have crossed paths there with Jonathan India, the University of Florida Gator program. And, you know, he wasn't quite as heralded as Singer, but he has got mid-90s fastball, good changeup. And they really like him.
24 years old. There's a good rip to short. Backhand pick. Lofton longer throw. Heineman hustling but beaten. That's 10 straight Reds retired. 2 down. young man with that big-time flow takes on the Reds' young rising shortstop. Garcia's first plate appearance. Just came on defensively last half inning. Talk about being thrown to the fire. That was Garcia's 2020 snapped breaking ball for a strike. It's a lot to go from A ball to the big leagues. And to do so at such a very young age for Garcia. But he has some big-time confidence this year. He's added his strength. Worked a lot on hitting in the offseason. Oh, that's nasty.
He's not seen a fastball yet. I mean, you get a young kid coming up out of the minor leagues. If you're Kowar, you're thinking, you know what, he can probably hit a fastball. Let's see if he can hit my curveball and my changeup. Maybe teasing with a heater. Oh, or touch the corner. Get that detail brush out. Number 7 on the block.
How Cincinnati is a small ballpark, and it is. At the point that I came on board, like I said it right away. I'm like, I don't care about the ballpark, and I don't care. Like, homers are going to happen. I'm interested in making guys swing and miss. I'm interested in that part of it because I know that the outs are going to happen other ways, and the homers are going to happen too. I'm going to take my chances. Vegas tells me that I'm going to win that battle more times than not.
First pitch outside to Nick Lofton. The last 6 outs recorded by Reds pitching have come by way of K. Swing and miss don't lie. That true?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you never seen a home run on a strikeout.
Right.
Of course, it used to be a saying that you'd never see a home run on a ground ball. So they would say pitch to contact, keep the ball down, keep the ball in the ballpark. And then hitters began to realize that you can, you know, figure out a way to lift the ball even when it's down in the zone. And then pitchers just throw harder and harder. And I think at some point they realized some pitchers are better throwing the ball upstairs with good backspin on it rather than trying to pitch down. You know, the guy sitting to my right doing the radio commentary for the Reds right now, Jeff Brantley, was one of the early guys that I noticed who would always be much more effective throwing the ball up in the zone. That's where he got a lot of his strikes.
Difficult ball to first that kicks foul. Here's a look at the sea of strikeouts. Cianel Perez dominant in a 1-2-3 all K fifth. And then Jose De Leon arrived. Struck out the first 2. Got Rivera to chase. Melendez looking, and after a couple of walks, sit down Anderson Miller. And that's part of what we've learned, right? That there are some universal truths, but fewer than I think most ever thought. The truth is, this is a team game played by individuals, and a lot of coaching, a lot of philosophy, a lot of execution. While you're working toward a team goal, how you get there is individualized. Your skills are augmented and employed based upon how you help. Like that turn of phrase that Derek Johnson employs that you love. Be great at what you're good at.
Sure. I think that's a great philosophy to live by. And, you know, let's put a little perspective into these strikeouts. So a lot of times in spring training, what you're seeing is a AAA or major league pitcher striking out kids from A-ball. That's what you call a mismatch.
Now, we did see a young man who spent most of his year as an all-star in A-ball in Kowar, who had pretty big league kind of stuff last inning. And isn't part of the difference, right, between the elite lower minor player and the upper minor or big league player? Payoff way high. Lofton works a walk. Consistency. You know, that A-ball elite player, stuff-wise in any one pitch, is at times the equal, maybe even the superior than his higher-level counterpart.
You know, it's funny because I had a conversation before the game today with one of the advanced scouts from a big league team, and we came to that conclusion that sometimes, you know, watching these spring training games is a lot. I said it's really hard to hit in spring training because you've got guys trying to throw as hard as they can, You know, they're learning new metrics. They're learning new spin rates. They're learning new ways to throw harder with, you know, weights and development and conditioning and so on. And they're really trying to throw hard, but they're all over the place. How many times have you seen balls that are bouncing 4 feet in front of home plate or go all the way to the backstop?
Right.
So that's the way it's so difficult to hit when you're an A-ball, because you're facing the best arms in the organization, but there's no clue where that ball's going.
Right.
And it's almost like it's what you see here in spring training. You see guys missing by 4 feet. Next thing you know, they throw 3 pitches in a row right on the block. So that was the one thing that hitters always said, is that it's easier to hit the more you go up the ladder, because you know what pitchers are trying to do.
Deeney got a piece. Another bat worked into that DH slot for the Royals. The other thing I've always heard is that as 4 different fighter jets in formation roar overhead, the umpiring improves. Jacoby Ellsbury was the first guy to tell that to me. He said, I hit better at double-A than A-ball, triple-A than double-A, because I really knew the strike zone. And as I moved up, the umpires knew the strike zone better, and that allowed me to have an overall better approach.
And the pitchers would find the strike zone more.
Yep. Snap throw down to first, tag a touch tardy. Now, Lofton's been cheating some. He's been shifting his shoulders, angling to second base. Deeney down on strikes. 1 down. Rodillon doing the catching. Matias will get an AB here. Strikeouts keep piling up. That's 4 for De Leon. Well, what's your takeaway in De Leon this spring?
I like De Leon. I like his approach. I didn't like the fact he walked the leadoff hitter here in this inning. But I think, you know, I played winter ball. I realize it's you know, you got to really work hard to do what he did down there. Had a great winter in Puerto Rico. I think that's somewhere between probably AA, AAA, maybe even a couple of games, depending on who's pitching, a little plus AAA. I like his breaking ball. I mean, I liked him going into last year. It's just too bad that his numbers look so bad last year. 31 strikeouts in 17 innings.
In your day, you were telling me off air in winter ball, you were seeing like big league presence on most clubs there. Oh, good pitch, twisted swing and miss.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those experiences where, you know, 2 or 3 years after you play down there, half the league is in the all-star team at the big league level. Well, that's a nice changeup.
That's 5 strikeouts for De Leon. Though the Reds haven't recorded an out other than through a strikeout since the Prado ground ball out in the 4th. And there's a look at the hardware. He didn't just pitch great. He got a championship trophy. And look at that. Liked by T.J. Antone. His teammates paying attention to the Insta there. One-0 to Cancel. Grounded wide open right side. Easily gets through. Lofton through second from right. Aquino comes up firing to third. Picked on a bounce by Garcia. Snapped to first. Not in time. And a cavernous right side. Cancel. Easy base knock. Men at the corners. So De Leon trying to put a bow on his second inning. Manuel Rivera gets a crack at the plate. And this game largely decided by extra base hits early. Michael Lorenzen saw Jorge Soler homer to begin the second. Later in the inning, a 2-run double by Sebastian Rivero. And Rivero launched a 2-run tater. Ryan O'Hearn a solo homer off Sean Doolittle in the 4th. Smoked foul here. Reds lone run. A 2-out walk by Tucker Barnhart in the 3rd. Kyle Farmer doubled him in with a shot to left center. Rivera getting aboard often this spring. Reds, by the way, will host the White Sox tomorrow. Tyler Mahle scheduled to make the start. Out in front foul. And then we'll see La Piedra. Luis Castillo goes Friday as they take on the Mariners. So De Leon, who was started, working in relief today. Fifth different Reds pitcher employed today. Bigger lead at first. Just misses. Fastball 91. There's an intimacy to this ballpark. It feels similar to the Reds and Indians shared facility at Goodyear. Fans are very close to the action. Minor league stadium feel. 1-2. Fouled away. And some of the ballparks, my first spring training here, Chris, and some of them feel more cavernous and big and more detached. And I like what the Reds Goodyear Stadium feels like, and this Surprise ballpark is very similar.
Yeah, this is a little one of the older ballparks, not as old as the one in Scottsdale, of course, but this is a great place to watch a game. They have a nice grassy berm out there behind the outfield walls where in a normal year this place would be full. It'd be 6,000 or 7,000 people here today.
High heat, swing and a miss, strike three. Well, the strikeout barrage continues. De Leon, 6 Ks.
Rolls on here from the desert. I'm Jim Day. Joining us from the Reds facility, TJ Antone. And TJ, we appreciate you joining us. What a difference a year or so makes in your life. At one point, you were hoping that you could maybe get there. Now, all of a sudden, you're not only here, there's high expectations for you. Could you have imagined this past year for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to see my work show up on the field and just to kind of make the gains I've been envisioning in myself, kind of, on and off the field, just slowly progressing each pitch, slowly progressing, the way I go about my training and everything, and my body's, following along with it. And it's cool to see kind of focusing on the process, turn into result finally. I think there's always that next level to chase. And I hope that I pursue that for the rest of my career, whether it's another year or 15 years, that I want to always chase that 1%. DJ always talks about that, what can you do each day to get that 1% better? And, I sometimes overdo it a little bit. They have to, pull the reins back on me a little bit. But, I'm always chasing that 1%. And so I think viewing, regardless if I have a spot locked down on the team or not, viewing that I do not have a spot locked down on the team, and viewing that I am still new on this team, I do still have a lot to show. The mentality I need to have.
Well, it's a great mentality to have. There's no doubt about that. You had talked about having a new pitch or a new variation to a pitch that you say is a difference maker. Can you talk about that?
There's just some adjustments I made this offseason. Fastball's spinning a lot truer, so I know what it's finally doing. I'm not guessing. I'm not just throwing it over the plate and hoping it either sinks a little bit or cuts a little bit. I know what it's doing. And then the slider is definitely tighter this year. So yeah, I adjusted my grip on those two pitches, and I hope they show up this year.
Well, we are excited to see where your journey takes you, and your beard is in midseason form. It's first team All-Pro any sport. And I know the wife was against it, but you have won that battle, and you are looking.
I won the battle to the offseason. Here we go.
And a lot of thanks to Jim Day and TJ Antone. By the way, Jim Day also a brilliant chat with Joey Votto on the latest Jim Day podcast, including Votto discussing what his future after his playing days might include. It very well could surprise you. Big hustle double there by Aristides Aquino. That snapped a string of 11 straight Reds retired.
TJ said something in that conversation. I don't know if you picked it up, John. I think a lot of people may be scratching their head when he said, I got my fastball spinning truer. And really what that's really the essence of what pitchers are trying to do nowadays, is to get not just the amount of spin on a ball, but they want the rotation of that spin to be perfect.
Tough play. Oh, and a run down. Aquino dead to rights. Tag applied by Lofton.
Heads up defense, not so much on the running side.
There's Rivera charging in from third base.
If you watch a runner at second base, if he decides to go right away, he's going to make it to third base, because you have to beat the shortstop there. But Lofton was already swung around on the shift. If you get it before Rivera even gets to the baseball, you got a chance to beat that play. But Aquino gets run down for the out. Would have been an infield hit otherwise.
And now Smith. First look at the plate. And that gets away from Melendez. Alert take of second by Errol Robinson.
So to get back to that quick comment about truer spin on the fastball, what he's trying to say is that he's releasing the ball so that the backspin on the ball is perfect in relation to the distance that it's going. It doesn't have a side axis one way or another. If you throw sidearm, the ball's going to spin sideways. Well, when you throw overhand, if you want that ball to have great backspin, you have to have as true as possible to, say, a reverse 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock spin. And the closer you get to that, the more ride that ball will have, and the more deception it will have to the hitter at home plate, especially on a high fastball. So, you know, the big conundrum is, you know, the analysts know that, the coaches know that, but how do you communicate that to the pitcher, and how does the pitcher put that into play? And T.J. Antone, very smart guy, very articulate, and he's picked up on it. And I'm delighted to see his success so far. Last year, I mean, he came from nowhere and just exploded on the scene. And this year, I think he's going to get better and better. I'll tell you, we're going to see him either in the starting rotation or in high-pressure late-game situations this year.
3-0 on Dwight Smith Jr. Takes a strike. So to that end, is that a feel thing that you can look at the combination of analytics, how the coach from a third person point of view can read it, and then once you find that delivery, you can by feel replicate it and know when it's off?
Yeah, I think you can, but the beauty of the analytics and the machines that they have now that help you, you know, the Rapsodo and the Edgetronic camera and so on, is that you're able to get instant feedback when you're throwing a bullpen. So if you start getting into a slump, you know, it's like a golfer wondering, why all of a sudden am I slicing the ball? Well, they can look at these instruments, and it can tell them what it's doing. You can do the same thing in a bullpen session, where it used to be a bullpen session would be, you know, your old pitching coach standing behind you with his arms crossed. He spit some tobacco out, and you'd say, how'd that feel? And you say, that felt good. He goes, well, go ahead and do it again. Not anymore. Now you're whipping out the iPad, and you're looking at all the numbers saying, hey, you know what? I could tweak this a little bit better. And this is where the whole thing has taken baseball. I think it's very exciting. I think I'm just so happy the Reds have embraced it. It can't be the only thing that runs, you know, your strategy, but it certainly is one of the main important things.
Big rally there from 3-0 to get the K for Kowar. Now Grullon. Big compact body, lays off away. By the way, Aquino played in the B game today. He homered in the B game against the Indians and then came on as a replacement in this game. So he went JV to the varsity same day. Extra base hit in both games.
Double meal money?
You know, that's a good question. I think he's earned it, right? If that's the case, then you and I should call some games.
Nothing like hanging around, you know, the big league camp for one extra week. You knew when that payday was, when they give you the week's worth of meal money. Now I think they may give these kids meal money day by day. But it used to be you get a week's worth. If you got sent down on Wednesday before the week is up, you got to keep the difference.
2-1, uppercutted to right. That's got some carry. Matias looks up and say goodbye. Home run. David Grullon. The home run trot. And a crooked number arrives for the Reds here in the 8th. It's now 7-3.
What a big man hit that ball. I mean, this baby is walloped.
It is a pretty sound. And there's a pumped strike. TJ Friedel down 0-1. Grullon getting welcomed back in the dugout. And by the way, in that B game today, Hunter Green started, went an inning, 1 run, 2 hits, no walks and a strikeout. Our old friend Billy Hamilton led off for the Cleveland B team in that game. Swing and a miss. Kyle Holder led off and struck out, popped to the catcher, playing shortstop. Tried to backdoor. Other pitcher of note, Nick Lodolo, went the final inning. 2 strikeouts, otherwise zeros. Lodolo's looked very sharp. Two. Friedel lifts it. Left side. Lofton makes the call and the catch. David Grullon launches a 2-run homer, and the Reds slice into the deficit. It's 7-3. Split the Pot Jackpot is now available online with a rolling jackpot of over $59,000. Buy tickets now, Reds5050.com. The jackpot will continue to grow until the conclusion of the opening day game. Remember, you must be 18 or older and in the state of Ohio to purchase. Visit Reds5050.com. Ball 1 to MJ Melendez. Home 8th. Reds down 7-3. Jose De Leon, his 3rd inning of work. Peppers the fastball by, swing and a miss. Does he drop that arm slot some on a few of his pitches?
It looks like he does drop his arm a little bit. I'm wondering if that comes from trying to shorten that arm swing a little bit. I mean, when I say short, it used to be that you were instructed as a pitcher to take the ball out of your glove and then kind of go straight down towards your knee. Now, you know, the recommended way of doing it is take it not much further down than your belt line. And, you know, if you want to look at the #1 example of that is Trevor Bauer. I mean, what he's done is just incredible. And the videos that I've seen of his performances so far this spring are pretty off the charts, too.
2-2. Count runs full. What was that like to watch Bauer in that Cy Young season?
Well, I mean, the guy came prepared. I think he had an idea that it was going to be a short season, you know, throughout the whole COVID shutdown. And he geared himself to be ready. And he pitched, you know, lights out baseball when the Reds needed it.
Made team history in the process. Payoff. Reaching swing. Gets a piece. Melendez stays alive. John Heasley warms in the Royals bullpen. Does not sound like we'll have a home 9th in this game. And I don't say that because of the score. 3-2, swing and a miss. 7 strikeouts for Jose De Leon. This is like winter ball all over again. Just seems to be showing some sneaky life, locating, and he just looks so comfortable. Prado, who's walked, 1 touch low, and a dab to the chest. De Leon saying, my bad.
I want to thank all the folks in Kansas City area who are watching us today on Fox Sports Midwest. Looking at their Royals, thinking about the opening of the season coming up. They've got a pretty good-looking ball club. Be a tough division. Of course, the White Sox have improved immensely. They're the favorites right now. In fact, the Reds will be playing the White Sox fairly soon. Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, and David Bell will be able to perhaps get with the White Sox manager, Tony La Russa, reminisce a little bit.
And last we heard, that's set to be a 9-inning game. Pumped in there for a strike.
I never thought that would be a headline.
Let's see.
This just in. We're not going to play the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, the true first that we saw on our air was an on-field argument trying to ask umpires to continue a game. I never thought I would see that in my life. Adds to the theater some.
Hey, umpires have lives too.
They do. And it is hard to umpire. Don't get me wrong, there are some that are better than others, but when they arrive here, what they have to do with these velocities, with the minuscule difference between ball and strike, it is not easy. And it's not easy to hit that.
A lot of standing around too. At least we get to sit.
Well, Prado is to sit. Back-to-back Ks for De Leon. 8 strikeouts.
Good look at his change-up grip. Well, that's kind of a classic old circle change. You know, you get out there and you pronate, you turn that ball over. The last finger it touches is your little pinky finger as it rolls off the edge. He's feeling it. I think he's got at least 5 or 6 more innings than him. Why don't you hang around and do that C game after this one?
That fastball showed some run in there on Isbell. I'm assuming that means extra compensation. So actually, as long as you feed me and give me some water, I mean, I'm pretty much good.
How about I
like
bring you a Ramiro's breakfast burrito?
You know, you've ingratiated yourself on so many levels, but none like food, and that is a tattooed shot by Isbell. Launches onto the grass beyond the bullpen for a home run.
That's a good swing, geared up to the heater, got the heater and launched it a long way. He's got a nice swing, Isbell does. We watched him a couple of times. He was on that traveling Royals team that came into Goodyear the other night. You know, really, but what you're looking at here in the last few innings, John Sadek, is what baseball in the 2020s is. You know, strikeouts. What do you say, 7 strikeouts for De Leon? Home run. You know, occasional walk, home run, strikeout.
The Royals have struck out 15 times and hit 4 homers. And they also have 7 walks.
Oh, that's it.
Against 9 total hits.
Look no further than this game here at Surprise Stadium today.
And conversely, the Reds have hit 1 homer. They have about half as many strikeouts, 7, only a couple of walks, 8 hits. And Miller goes up and gets this one. Deep left center, and that's gone. Back-to-back 2-out jacks.
Wow. Talk about Tommy Hawk. Look where this pitch is. Way up there.
Giving up the body there for the souvenir.
I'll tell you what, if this is the effect of the new baseball where they actually took a few feet off of it, I'm not seeing that part. Of course, the wind is blowing rather stiff. Now right out over center field wall.
Lofton takes one down.
So you ask yourself, I mean, you know, considering the home runs in this inning, does De Leon, does it diminish his feel about how he feels about this game? Does it change anything? Or do you just say, well, home runs are part of the game. I'm firing it up there. I'm either going to get a strikeout or a home run.
Yeah, I would come away from this outing feeling pretty good. Because I do think you're onto something with the wind on that last homer. And that's always something that's hard to balance. It's something you see at many different levels in the minors. The High A California League is notorious for hellacious wins and inflated ERAs. The Double A Texas League. And then select stadiums, particularly in the PCL at AAA. And the Royals fall victim to that more than most. Well, there's a high fly ball, decent carry to center, but it's read well. And that'll do it on the inning. AAA Omaha is known as a major wind tunnel. De Leon, 8 Ks, but a couple of dingers, 9-3. Training for everyone, even fans looking for souvenirs. Come on, you got to give it to the kid, right? Aggression, competition. And yeah, I'll give up the body. Fans having a good time.
Didn't kick that beer can over, though. That was a good move.
That's how you can tell who has the real poise and presence.
Know what's important.
So does Jonathan Indios. Hit the ball hard a few times today. A single, line drive out. He's flied to center. And you often use the term that David Bell has employed as well, that India has an aura of toughness. And I also feel of some leadership. Check swing, excuse me, contact, bigger bound, underhand shovel, and the new pitcher in the game, John Heasley, records the putout.
You know, I sometimes go back to this saying that Buck Showalter, longtime manager in the major league, said, he goes, you know, if I have a choice between a guy with great talent or a guy who's a gamer, give me the gamer, because at the end of the day, he's going to figure out how to beat the guy with the talent. Now, the ideal thing is to have both, obviously, and you don't make the major leagues if you don't have some talent. But, you know, I like those guys that are tough, and they play tough, and they're not afraid to work hard and stick their emotions out there. It doesn't mean you have to be cocky or walk around with a swagger or anything like that. But, I mean, it does mean that when you play like that, you get the respect of your teammates. And if you want respect of veterans on your ball club, that's the way you handle yourself, not only when you're playing, but when you're watching, when you're practicing.
Blandino chopper. Rivera gets the dime. And 2 down. Scott Heineman comes to the plate. Now, by the way, Heasley, you saw his numbers. He had time at low Class A Lexington, the Legends. Unfortunately, they are one of the teams lost in the contraction of minor league baseball. They're going to Indy Ball.
Oh, that's a nice little stadium down there. It
is. Like, there are some markets that really did raise an eyebrow for me, that I was shocked lost an affiliated minor league team, and Lexington's one of them. And my dad spent a long time living in Versailles, right outside of Lexington, and that was a great ballpark experience. Big rip by Heineman. Seems to be red. Isbell makes the catch, and that's your ball game. Now the Reds go down to 1-2-3 in the 9th as the Royals take it 9-3. Kansas City improves to 8-3. The Reds will fall to 2-7-1 on the spring slate. We'll be back with more to break it down. Final score in Surprise. Reds fall 9-3.